reviewed in over 20 years. It's near as
You're wrong. I'll tell you that right now, you're
All
wrong
right.
on that comment.
Okay.
Because we have a signed contract that was signed in 07.
07?
Yeah. So your borough record should have that somewhere.
Here's what I'm saying. Was it ever brought up in a meeting in 07?
Yes. You want to see the signed contract?
No.
That's why we want you here.
No, wait, you're starting with your attitude there, right off the bat.
No,
The
no,
borough-
no,
The borough secretary should have a copy of the contract.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
Jack, I don't have attitude, I'm with you. We want you here because we want this mess straightened
Well,
out.
the way the letter was written, I have to take offense to the letter itself. Okay? One of those sentences in this, I mean, it's all done in sentence form, no paragraph forms. What the one says is to, let me find it here where it says, to improve communications between the borough council and the fire company. Well, I didn't think there was a problem with the communications to begin with. All right.
Can you read the whole letter? Because
Do any of you guys want some coffee?
Take some air conditioning.
And there is,
I know.
next year, that's up to.
But just to start it off, just the way the letter was written, brought concern to me, and I never shared it with Adam even yet.
Do you like the letter range?
I did, Joe read it, I did not mean it to sound
Yeah, sometimes
as an
things
offensive,
sound
but
better
I just
than
wanted
that.
it to, we
Yeah.
want you here so we can talk to
Because
you face
I
to
talked to
face.
Bill about it afterwards, shared it with him afterward.
Well, sometimes the written word for all of us comes off different than the letter
But the
intended.
actual contract, you folks have a contract.
Well, it would be, that's what, 11 years old?
07.
Yeah, 07, that was right.
That'd be 11
It
years,
was
right?
It was signed.
Oh, that's long and
Signed
valid.
and sealed.
Who signed it? Who sealed it?
Joe Nedling was president of council, and Donna Borson was the secretary. December 6th of 07.
See here, no, I was going to have Kathy here tonight. Do any of these board members, you guys have been around? Barbara, do you ever?
I was not, I've only been on the board.
And it's renews, what it does, it renews every year without
Well-
an issue. That's what it does, it's why it was made up.
It does. Because that's why we did it the way we did it at the time. This is basically the same contract that has been in existence probably for 25 to 30 years. Okay, but the contract was signed as a 3-year agreement, and it says upon expiration of the term provided, this agreement shall continue on a year-to-year basis with the greatest amount scheduled due unless at least 60-day notice prior to the end of the calendar year. One party shall be given a written notice to the other who desires to terminate it.
We're going to come. We're going to look at this every year. We're not going to do that. So be on notice. It'll be, you may get the exact same amount, but we're not going to enter into that type of deal.
Well, the reason being, it kept the same issues from being brought up every year and every year and every year.
We want the same issues to be brought up
That's-
every year and every year.
Our
and
biggest
every year.
concern is every time council changes, like none of us have been here for 7 years, 10
Right,
years.
and I agree.
So now we're in the blind,
And
we're
I
in the
agree.
dark.
I'm not, when I point back to you, Angel, I'm not pointing on you. The secretary records and the minutes and the contract should have all been turned over.
Yeah, my guess is it isn't legal anyway, but one way or another.
Oh, I
we're
think
gonna
it
do
is,
away
because
with that
we
contract.
had an attorney looking us over.
Well,
Well, Angel found,
we'll get
and
the
that
notice in
2000,
writing.
was that
Unless this board
2003,
agrees.
the ones we looked at in a minute?
Yeah, we
They were in
looked
2003, it was $7,000 a year, 2003, and then it was correct, it was in there, then it was brought up to 3750 twice a year.
It's $7,500 total for the year according to the contract, which we didn't want to do anything because the borough's finances, we said, let's leave it as is,
That's very generous.
okay? Because the things have gone up in
You're right.
20 years. This borough could never afford to pay the fire company's total bills. I don't care what fire company you try to get with, you'd never be able to.
What's your budget?
We don't have a budget. We file 501c3.
But still, I ran a 501c3 and I had a budget. We had a budget, you have income and you
Income.
have expense. What's your income?
Yeah, this year, I do not know yet, because it hasn't been
What
filed.
was it
For last year.
What
Our
was
most
the year
recent,
before?
our most recent filing is 2016.
Okay.
And don't ask me the numbers right off the bat, because I have no idea. We look at this, present it to our membership, and they approve it. Okay, and that's it. We're over $1 million at the year end.
Over $1 million.
That's right.
You know what our budget is?
I have no idea.
It's $100,000, not counting liquid fuels. You're, just on that alone, you're taking 7.5, actually more than 7.5% of our budget. Because just in this, and here's the other thing I resent here. You guys refer to this as a fire protection fee. That's a double fee. This is a donation. This is no fee. A fee, these people were under the impression that we were required
Look at
to
the
make it.
contract.
Well, whatever, we'll just leave it here, we'll find one. Why don't
No,
you
no,
tell me?
I want this back.
Okay,
This
you
is
can have
our-
it.
this is
We're gonna
our-
send you something
You
in
can have a
writing.
copy. You guys should have a copy
Well,
already.
whatever, if this board agrees, we're gonna
But
send you a
that's
letter,
just
we're
what I
getting
said.
out of
This
that
is
contract.
why we wanted you here, because we didn't have all this, and we discussed this over and over again. We wanted to meet with the fire company so we could straighten this mess out. And you took
Where
offense
is-
as
where
soon as
is-
I said
well,
that.
Where's the issue at right now? You just said there was a problem.
Money.
Well, the problem is right here, more with this
And then
board
just
than
like
with you.
Elvin said,
But
you
it's-
know, when you switch board over and over again, you know, we have stacks and stacks and files of papers. You
It's-
have stacks and stacks and files of papers.
This is not the issue. The problem is with the borough, is you're losing your tax base. You
Yes.
turn it down to 5 and 10, even as
Well, we're aware of that.
dilapidated,
That's-
even as dilapidated as it was,
still
you were
brought in
getting
revenue.
taxed. Now that it's
Now
gone,
you're
it's gonna be
bringing
pulled
in
off.
what's on, it'll go down to a parking lot or a vacant
Well,
lot.
see,
is what it
here-
is.
here's the
Better
thing.
somebody get killed going in.
Correct,
Amen.
correct.
But here's the thing, the borough
But that goes
has-
back to,
tighten their belt.
property.
Over 20 years, we've tightened our belt a lot, but you
We
haven't
have.
had to,
Oh,
based
yes, we
on
have.
our, not
Oh,
our
yes,
donation.
oh, yes,
But
we
our
have.
donation hasn't changed, is the point. We can't pave our roads, we have a
Oh,
sinkhole out
yes,
there.
yes, we have.
Well, you may have, but I'm saying, we have, our contributions to you hasn't
I-
changed a bit.
I can say one bill right in particular, it went from $35 in probably 15 years ago to $170.
Well, the same
And
with.
that is our phone bill with the internet service.
But the same with the workers'
Correct.
comp that we pay for you. We have to pay
You're
for
required by law.
We are, and we will
And
continue
you
to pay
don't,
that.
are you telling the rest of the council members that you're getting reimbursed from part of the other municipalities?
Of course we are. No, I don't know that, I think we're much more open now than this board has ever been.
Because I know that they bill the other municipalities
Yes, so we're gonna discuss that
proportionate.
today.
We have nothing to do with that.
I know you don't, but what I'm saying, just like your costs went up, our costs went up, the one thing that stays the same and actually increases is the donation to the fire. It went from 7,000 to 7,500. Now, in my opinion.
It did not.
they
It
get
did
their own.
not. In
We just went through that.
In 2008, in the last 13 years, or 11 years, it did not increase.
Right, I understand, but you
So-
just said a minute ago, it went from 7,000 to 7,500.
Well, the prior, the prior.
In
2003.
2003, it was, we found that one, because I was kind of looking to try to find that, and I was just in the wrong year looking, that's all.
That's mine, Jack. That's what we,
For everybody to know, since nobody was introduced, Jock, he's
Yeah, but
Jock, the
next, I
treasurer.
don't know.
Alan Redbaum right here,
Oh, that's-
he's the chief. Eric, he's
Eric, my pleasure.
lieutenant.
Say,
And Brian Redbaum over there, he's the
Right.
president of the fire company.
we don't want this to be confrontational,
No,
but we've got our own
but when
issues
you
here.
come to us, or when you came right off and said that we're going to.
Well, again, she said
basically-
she didn't mean it. that
No, no,
way.
no, when you stated that because the contract is causing a hardship on the borough, it wasn't, it's not the fire company additional that's causing the issue. The issue is over the years, like I said, you've lost your tax base.
We're aware of what happened, whatever happened, we have to address that issue, that is our.
We're
Bottom line is
addressing
we can't
everything
afford
as a
75.
whole, and it's not just you, we're cutting costs everywhere.
We can't afford to go without the contracts either, because we have our bills that come up and go out as well.
Who
And they
gives you-
increase.
What do you get from White and the Carey?
8 and 75, I believe.
You get 8,000 from Lake.
Yes, we do.
I don't know what their budget is, I don't know much about them.
But it's all within, how can I say it? It was set up along a basis of call volume,
Well-
and we try to do population.
Well, right, population, we have 19% of your population, Cary
Right.
Township has 50%,
Right.
yet we're
And
getting
you-
dollar for dollar what
And
they
you
are.
need to realize that those numbers are not comparison to when this contract here was signed either.
No, there's more people in Borough, yeah.
Correct.
Well, again, what you're doing is providing evidence for us to reduce that. A lot of stuff has changed, we have less revenue coming in, your service area
It
is
takes two
lower.
parties to agree upon the value or whatever you set. And I will not speak for the fire company here tonight, and none of these guys
can.
will either. We cannot, because we take our information to our meeting for approval. And if the membership says, no, we want to leave it as is, that's where it will stay. And that's one of the reasons why it hasn't increased.
Again, that sounds very, you almost make it sound like you're giving us money. You know, it's like the very, boy, if
Other
we didn't ask you
municipalities,
for a raise.
for charge, we should be higher.
What he said, they've already raised their rates for
Yeah,
other
I know what
municipalities
you're saying.
to put more into it. They have raised theirs, they've let ours alone because they know our situation.
Well, you don't see much evidence. Now, if you take Vicaria, their tax rate is 4 mils. Ours is 28 mils. They're much wealthier than us. They have 10 million in real estate, we have 2.
And you don't realize that in 1967, the borough gave to the fire company the truck at the
Right, but
67
this
truck.
isn't
Now, wait a minute,
67.
I know. But they also contributed monies toward the 75 truck that was replaced. But since then, we've replaced every vehicle in that station and have not gone to any municipality to ask
Right,
for
right.
additional
We're fortunate
funding.
enough to get grants.
We were fortunate enough to get grants and management on our end.
That's good.
Watch our funds. So, you're coming out saying that we're costing you. We're watching our funds as well.
Well, on our budget, this is an expenditure
Because you
for us.
could have that added expense of replacing an engine at $500,000, $400,000.
Well, we're not legally obligated to replace your engine. We
No,
tried.
not now, because we own, but I'm saying if the borough owned
Yes,
the
which
equipment.
we don't, and we're trying to support the fire company, and we do in many
This-
other ways. Just paying your workers' comp is a burden. That's a lot of money.
It's a burden, but you're required by
That-
law.
We're gonna do that, and we got
do
that
that.
part. We're doing it. We're not required by law to make this donation, and that contract is long.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, our attorney, he looked at it, but I'm giving you advance notice unless this board says otherwise. And I don't know what they're going to say, but my guess is we're going to get out of that contract. And we'll negotiate year by year, we'll decide
Year
what
by
we
year
can
is
give you
fine.
based on what we can afford. Not what you want, but based on what we can afford.
And then what do? Tell the public that the borough is.
We will support you as best we can.
Because, we have, I'm not a written budget, but we have our numbers that we go by. We just don't go out and buy something
Of
without.
course not, I'm just trying to find out what that budget is. That's all I want to
Yeah.
know, is what it is.
There
I'd like to see
really
it writing.
isn't a budget per se.
It sounds like you have 10 times the revenue coming in that we do. I'd like to know what your costs are. How much do you spend in a year?
Whatever it
Come
says
on,
in our
Sam.
Depends on
501c3.
Depends on fuel.
We spend over about 11 to 12,000 on just insurances. Our average monthly,
Oh, what would all your expenditures be?
our monthly fuel bill, just for the vehicles, is probably $400 to $500. We're spending $150.
Well, out of your million, what do you spend?
What's I'm telling you?
Okay, that's
So
pretty
you're-
small
you're-
numbers out of a million.
No, we just bought 3 sets of gear, $9,000.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Can anyone give me the
We
bottom line?
need 26 more sets of gear.
Can you give me the
Our
bottom
squad
line?
ran over 500 calls last year. It doesn't take $1 every time it pulls in that thing.
Every
All
time
I'm
you go on a
asking, what do
hill
you
or
spend
out
in
of
a
the borough
year? I
anywhere.
can tell you what we spend in a year.
We just bought 3 new saws. The whistle blows to the tree down in COALPORT. Who cuts it up? Us. We don't call the borough members to come and do it. We don't call you to come to do it.
And I understand your expenditure of gear, because I know that gear
About
gets
83,000.
contaminated, and it is very expensive to
And that's
About
replace.
83,000.
Sounds to me like you need to bank a lot of money.
What
expenditures
We're not-
are 83,
we're not
and your
putting
net
away-
income is 1
We're not
million.
putting away, but if we were not to get a grant and have to replace one vehicle, you're looking
Right.
at $400,000 on the low side.
Well, there's a payment every month on the hall.
There's a
On the
social hall
social
payment.
hall
Well,
payment.
what percentage of our budget, if you were sitting here, what percentage of your budget would you give to the fire company?
I would stay with this because my
7.5%
knowledge
right
of
there.
what I've seen out throughout the state and other municipalities, this is fair.
Well, on a percentage basis, you're aware of Bucaria pays 5% totally on a percentage basis. They give to what, 4 fire companies, they get $11,000 out of a $215,000 budget, not counting liquid fuels. You throw liquid fuels in there, you have
Yeah, you
$300,000.
guys, yeah.
You see the difference, they're giving you 5%, we're giving 7.5%, actually closer to 8%. And they're much better off than we are.
The carry is split up between 3 departments.
That's what I said, counting those 3 departments, they're giving $11,000 out of a $215,000 budget. That's approximately 5%. We're giving you 7.5%, almost 8% out of a $100,000 budget. We have, just like you have costs, we have costs. We have roads to
realize
pave,
you
we
have
have to
costs.
keep this building up, we have a truck out there.
Correct.
We have problems here.
And we have,
Well, I have to make
we
hard
have,
choices.
we have issues too.
I understand you do. I'm saying we
I
have
mean-
to deal with all these and be as fair as we can, which is why we ask you,
The only reason Turtle Alley was paid down by the fire was because of the fire
right?
company.
I've heard that.
I mean, we got some of it back from the borough, but not a lot, but we were pleased with them, for a better job. That was
20 years ago.
15, 20 years ago,
Well,
probably.
part of our problem lies here. We are not pleased with what the leadership has done to us. We feel that what the board has been
What do you mean,
deceived.
leadership? Us?
No, not you at all.
Okay,
I
you
said
haven't
us.
said that.
We are, no, I didn't say that. I'm saying us right here, this board, between Jack and Joe, they kept this board for 20 years believing that this was a fee, which it is not a fee, it's a donation. It does
Yeah.
not, the law does not require the borough to make this contribution. Now, we'll get
I
some.
don't know, you're required to provide fire protection.
We are, I read the borough code, I looked through there and it says we can't just give money anywhere, like we can't give to Rudy Redbom's gas station, we can't make a donation there, but we are allowed to make a donation to you, but we are not required.
For
We are
fire protection. Right,
Well,
but
you can
we
call it
are,
whatever
we
you
are,
want.
well,
It's a donation.
we are also allowed to charge for every time the whistle blows that we go out and have to remove a tree. We can't charge manpower, but we can for equipment on a basis hour.
Charge who?
You, the borough, the property owner, whoever, but we don't do that. Other departments do, and they're opening them, I think they're opening them up.
Do you have statistics on how many calls for COALPORT?
Oh, right there.
Yeah, he does, I haven't seen this, so I don't, okay. I don't know if there's,
It's not actually put down in the borough.
yeah, that's,
For the township
I used to
or
break
whatever.
them down into the municipalities and all that. Without sitting, I can't tell you. I mean,
Of course,
just for
You know what?
example, last year, the number of hours we spent on the issue down here at the stream. I mean, was.
we're not saying you don't do stuff.
Real.
We don't have an axe to grind, we admire you, we think you all do a good job, it's
They
not
had
about that.
4 days of pretty much working
Yes,
from the medical center down and from Main Street down.
And you know, we all realize that. You know, we know you're volunteers, you don't get paid, we appreciate all of
Yeah,
that.
you're saying this contract wasn't a valid contract, it was.
Well, it's
Our attorney looked it up, I mean, that was
Well-
back, the first contract was had probably back in
Ours
75.
probably didn't though, because they didn't want it that way.
They may have, I can't speak for your
But I'm
council.
saying,
in
something like that just can't keep going and going. I'm guessing we're not going to allow that to continue. Try to give you fair warning here that, and I can't speak, I don't know how this is going to play out. I'm just one person, but if I were just from testing the waters, I think you're probably going to see a cut in what we do.
I will say this as well, the fire company, we have discussed it at meetings and between meetings, and my suggestion was leave the contracts as is, because no municipality wants to see an increase.
Well, no,
And
no fire company wants to see a decrease.
and, yeah, we can't,
Well, And we
I mean-
can't sustain that, is what I'm saying. Based on our current budget situation, that's beyond our abilities right
Well-
now. We don't know if we can keep the streetlights on. So, you know what I mean? It's,
In regard to that scenario of the water that came off of Mars, during the mitigation, were you able to turn in any bill to the Red Cross
There
or
was
whatever? Or federal, or PEMA, I mean, PEMA.
There was no grants. There was low interest loans.
Is it something we failed to do as a council?
It wasn't even low
No, they
interest loan.
said it wasn't
That was a joke.
catastrophic enough.
They used 3 or 4
But we
companies, they
used
put
farmers.
together to come
Yeah.
up with that low interest loan even, that, and they was down in, community room for like 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, a week.
Yeah, but that was all a joke. They
Yeah, that
say,
was-
okay, 2%, but you applied for that loan, and if you made a certain amount of money, your loan now would be 27%. So that was just a drawing card, it was a joke. I mean, it was a waste of my time, it was a waste of time this here, it was a waste of Jack's time going around the community, getting those dollar figures, for what? It was a waste of time.
But I agree, Brian, it was a waste of time, but it was a necessity that had to be done.
Oh, it had to be done, yes.
In order to see if you met the criteria to get.
all right, let us stick to the issue here. It's, while you're here, I'm gonna take a survey. You know what, I'm for getting rid of the contract. I'm not gonna ask him to vote because that'd be like a
Well,
conflict of interest, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a fireman on the one hand. and-
I have in the letter, there's not gonna be any action, so you're just doing something that.
Yes, there's gonna be no action.
Yeah,
but
and your vote doesn't count because
Yes, my vote does.
you're the president
My
of the
vote
council.
counts, and I get to vote. And I get a
You?
vote, yes.
I
get
thought
to
you were the
vote.
tiebreaker.
No, that
The
doesn't
mayor's
work.
the
The mayor's the
tiebreaker.
tiebreaker.
Mayor's
Yes.
tiebreaker.
So here, there's gonna be no action here, but at the meetings there will, that way there'll be no surprises. What they tell you.
Why don't you just vote then when you're gonna vote?
Well, so you guys know where we stand. That way
I
there's
think
no
we already know where
surprises.
you stand.
We know where I stand, we
Yeah,
know
I
where he
think so.
stands, but you don't know where they stand. You wanna know?
You guys are gonna do what you're gonna do. I mean,
Yes, we
Hey,
are. We
answer
don't
me
want there to
this.
be any
I'm a
surprises.
firefighter and I abstain, I will not.
Answer me this, okay? You want to avoid the contract, okay?
Yes.
All right? The whistle blows tonight, your house is on fire. I say to hell, with it, I'm not getting out of bed.
Well.
You no longer have fire coverage. Your homeowners, your fire insurance is deducted, you don't have fire coverage. You're going to put a burn on everybody else. They're
So is
paying
that
a certain
what you're
fire.
saying? If, we didn't say,
Hey,
get out,
Brian?
so if you're not gonna do anything.
I'll tell you right
if don't
now,
get
that's
that?
not the reason why I'm a firefighter. I don't care what you have
No.
against me,
Yeah,
your house
I
catches
don't
on
have nothing
fire.
against you.
Meeting's not about open.
That's not the point I'm
Why
trying
would
to
you vote
make.
your
say that my house
Sweetheart, that's
burns
not
down,
the point
you're
I'm
not
trying
No,
to
I'm
make.
just saying.
The point I'm trying to
Mark
make to
signed an
you,
application
your house
to join
catches
that
on
fire
fire
company.
tonight, I'm there regardless. I don't care what you do to
All
me,
right,
I don't care
Barbie.
what you say about me.
Then put your food over and pay attention, okay?
Brian,
That's
Yeah,
not the
Brian,
point
Brian,
I'm trying
you were-
to make.
we even went to this
I
meeting,
know
wouldn't let
what
anybody
you're,
die.
I know what you're
No,
saying.
I'm not saying that, but you guys don't understand what we do.
I do understand.
You don't realize how many hours I give this area in a week's time. No, you don't have no idea.
Understand that.
Plus, I carry a full-time job. You have no idea.
Besides what Brian's getting into, a lot of people don't realize what the fire company does that's behind the scenes. What I'm trying to get at is ISO. Do you have any idea what ISO is? Do you know what ISO is? Do you know what ISO is, Marty? Do you?
I don't.
Do you, Jerry?
So I know in computer language.
No, yeah, it's like
Maybe give us
not the
IS
same.
stand for, we might know.
ISO is an insurance service organization that sets your fire ratings.
Right, basically, if you have a fire hydrant real close to your fire company,
Proximity,
yes.
the closest, the number of hydrants you have in a
Well, again,
municipality, the amount of equipment. Wait, that's what I'm trying to tell you. And we have done our best to get this municipality down to
a good job.
4.5 or a 5 out of 10, which is really good because we don't have paid. Once you have paid, then that number goes up, and you have current equipment and everything else. They were just in here last year and checked our equipment all out.
You have your reality, your financial reality, and it's bad, and so is ours. And so unfortunately, everybody's gonna lose. If our budget goes down, you can almost be assured your contribution is going to go down. And you just pointed out that we take in less and less revenue But our costs
And
will
you as a
every
property
year.
owner may see an increase too, because we will not be able to keep up our equipment as well as it should be either, with the ISO ratings. So
Well,
keep that in mind.
I'm
I mean, I think it was Brian just mentioned, we're trying to get another grant to get gear. They came out and told us now, gear is only good for 10 years for a structural firefighter.
And like I pointed out, if you get it contaminated, it's not
Oh,
even good that long.
well, your insurance can pay, you can get, if you have insurance.
Right.
They'll pay for that. But it won't pay to replace just because
Right,
it's
it
wore out.
wears out, right.
Right.
And I understand, that's
And
a
you're
continual
looking,
problem.
you're looking at approximately 4,500, 5,000 for a set.
A complete set, yeah.
Yeah, complete set of gear.
Well, and we
It's
also
like
test
catch
here,
22.
if you look out there, we have the same problems, and we have to buy a, clean the streets, and buy that truck, and get a car.
Correct.
Fire company do some.
I understand 100%, I mean, things are tough all over.
Yes, that's the problem. So we're looking at every line item in our budget, every single line item. And like the workers' comp keeps going up, that doesn't come down.
And you need to do that. We have the same issue. Our
Yes.
Penelec bill keeps going up, our
Yes, so
phone bill
does ours.
keeps going up, our insurance keeps going up, the price of equipment keeps going up, the price of gear keeps going up.
And now you guys
We're,
do this as
we're also
volunteer.
looking at, you're saying maintenance of the building here.
Yes.
We are too.
So, yeah, you have the same, we have the same
We
problems.
haven't done a roof on the truck hull in over 20 years,
And neither do
23
neither
years.
do we. How many roads do you see paved here in the past 20 years?
1, 2,
Yeah, one
And I'm
just the
surprised-
other day.
little side, I'm
Yes.
surprised you haven't had a comment, a negative comment yet, but
We
you
have.
you did a
We
good
have.
job. I think you did a
Yeah,
good
we've
job. on that.
already had some negative comments,
Did you?
believe it or not.
Oh, I figured you would. I
Yeah.
told Joe.
Yeah, so you have the same problems we
But-
have, we understand your situation.
But you have to understand where we're coming from
We
too.
do.
None of us get paid for the
I
services
know you
that we
don't.
don't
But
either.
you know what
You
she
guys
gets
don't
paid?
either, anyway.
Yes, she gets minimum wage.
Right.
But now, if you work for the township, you get twice the minimum
Yeah, I know.
wage, you know what I mean? And they get retirement benefits that these people don't get. We'd like to take
Maybe
care
the
of our
borough,
staff.
maybe the borough should look at resolving back.
We should, maybe.
I don't.
We haven't talked about it.
I mean, I've jokingly said it out publicly for years.
But you should join the township.
See, till it comes
But
right
that
down,
might
till
be
it
the-
comes down to it and they force it, the township don't want it.
That would be a smart thing
That's,
to do,
that,
though.
it's happened in history, if you go back. 20
Twice.
minutes.
Yeah.
Twice.
At least twice that I know of. One time the borough approved it and the township disagreed, and the second
Yes.
time the township approved it and the borough
So
disagreed.
that would actually, in my opinion, not be a smart move.
Oh,
But it's beyond our.
the other day that
but,
we could do right now.
but you shouldn't be sitting here criticizing
in
the prior
City
council
joining
members
the borough
either.
back in the day.
I-
when it was overpopulated.
I take
Now
offense
they
to what
could
you were
use that
saying,
tax
how you're
revenue.
hammering these prior council members. Situations, no, wait a minute.
All right, go ahead.
Situations and times were different compared to today. They had a bigger population, they had more of a tax basis.
And
at
there's
the
other
time.
reasons to criticize the
Right.
previous
But
administration.
I sat on this board back in '84 for 4 years. I was assistant secretary for a year or two. So I know where the borough is going with a lot of it.
What was the budget back then?
Oh, I can't remember. That was back in the
Yeah.
mid-'80s.
Yeah, the bookkeeping was
They
pretty
down,
bad
down,
back
you were
then.
still down below, or were you up here?
Down there.
below.
Yeah, it's not, this isn't pleasant for anybody.
Absolutely, it's
It's
not.
not.
It's not. But you need to keep an open mind of where we're at. That's what I'm saying, we didn't want to increase.
That's
You know,
what
we
tried to
we
do.
wanted to leave it as is, and let it ride.
I
Because
don't
we
like
were
that for-
pleased with it,
Well, I'm
and
sure you were, but here's the thing, every year by law, we have to review our budget and pass a ordinance saying what our millage is going to be. You should review every line item on the budget. This has never been reviewed because councilmen, in my opinion, they were deceived. You don't like me saying this about the previous
yeah,
administration.
I wouldn't use it as
Well,
being
to
deceived.
me, it's
I
deception.
think that they knew they had a contract,
I don't,
because it's a written agreement.
the borough councilmen that were even on back then, they did not understand it as what you're presenting.
The wording was there, it was all presented.
They, I don't know that they ever had a chance to read it. They felt it was a fee that they were required to pay, and it just kept going and going. Nobody ever sat down and looked and said, can the borough continue to afford to do this? Nobody ever looked at it. Now, we're going to. We look at everything, every single line item on
And
the
you tell
budget.
me how we increase the differential.
Well, you know, but when I just listened to the two of us here talk about budgets, it seems like you're a hell of a lot better off than we are. It's bad off the
We
job.
might be, but at the same time, we have expenses too coming up
Nobody's denying
that
that.
are hidden expenses that no one even thinks about. The paving, parking lot hasn't been sealed or
It'd
paved.
be real good if you could come up here with the budget and throw it down in
Oh.
front of me and say, we bring in $1 million, we spend $80,000.
We don't bring in $1 million a
I
year.
thought that's just what you said when
No.
I asked you that question.
No, that's what our 501c total assets are.
Okay, I wanna know what your revenue is what I'm asking. How much
I'll
money
have to
comes
look here
in?
and see. Our revenues, in, I'm gonna make sure I get it right line. Total revenue was 83,000,
Okay.
83,424,
Close to us.
and we spent 83,192.
Where'd you get that money? From donations like the borough and people?
Donation, not donation, contracts with municipalities.
Well, I call it a donation.
Well, we call it a
Yeah, I'm
contract
sure you
because
do.
it's what, it's a written
They do a lot of
agreement.
fundraising.
And hours of
It's an agreement
fundraising
to make a
Hours
donation.
of fundraising.
from the community.
Hours of money raised on fund drive. Grant monies, this has to include all of our grant monies. Last year, we didn't get much, not as much.
State grants all we got last
State,
year.
yeah, 10 grand, 10 or 11 grand. All right, so these numbers are gonna be changed, they change yearly. If you look at this report probably from 3 to 4 years ago, you're gonna see about a $250,000 to $300,000 income because it was a federal grant
Yes.
that paid us, helped pay toward the truck. Now, you don't get them every year.
Right, so
You may never get another one.
I'm more interested in your operating budget, what you have coming in regularly, that you took all the grants out,
Yeah,
and you just counted
our
what we get from
501c requires us to report all
Yeah,
income.
your I
All
know.
income and expenses.
Right, but you also have an operating budget, the grants would be to the side.
We normally never ran an operating budget. We tried one back in the early 70s. And the guys just, it never worked. Because we know what our bills are every month.
Yeah, and that's what, I would like to know, what your bills are, what your revenue is, not counting special grants.
Well, but you have to realize and look at the overall picture for us because our fund drive does not all come in on one day.
Neither does our
It-
budget,
it
our
co-
income
it
doesn't
comes
come in.
over a 12
It's lumpy, that's why you
12-month
want to see
period.
an annual, what I'm looking at is your annual budget, not a
Right.
monthly or weekly.
We
How
don't
much you
have
bring in a year.
we don't have an annual budget.
Well, you ought to know what revenue you have coming in,
We
that's where,
take a guesstimate of what we have coming in.
do you bookkeeping? You don't know what you have
We-
coming in?
oh, yeah, we
If
do a
you look
receipts
back
evening.
last year, you don't know what came in?
That's how these numbers all arrive.
That's what
They
I'm-
are
all right.
given to the accountant, and they come up with the filing of the 990, or not 98, 90, 501c3, which we're required to file.
All right.
Mr.
Yeah.
President, if this is a true document that you emailed me, why is Arvona less than us and has more
I just put
population?
down the facts. They
Yeah.
don't, I just.
I mean, do you have a contract with Arvona?
No, they're just on there for
That's all
comparison.
mutual aid.
It's mutual aid, we don't have a
Yeah.
contract.
That was there for other reasons, just.
A lot of our
illustration.
call volumes is outside our service area, our contract service areas. But, and we don't, they do the same. If we need help, they come in. You know, and we're not afraid to ask for help if we need it. Neither are they afraid to ask for help from us if, you know, we can get it.
What about, if my house burns, does the insurance company reimburse the fire company for their time?
No.
Why can't you get that money?
Because, partly is because of this, 501c3, you're a volunteer, you're the volunteer hours. We could normally bill for equipment usage, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But you're looking at a, how can I say it the right way? How do you do it fairly? You're already under a hardship, and how are we gonna bill you $10,000?
I don't have any insurance.
Well, you know,
Because of the borough's trees on the side of my, they won't give me
Yeah,
insurance.
We have nothing to do with that, but you follow, that's one of the reasons why we don't do billing. Other people do billing. My personal spot on billing is you could be opening yourself up, because if you don't bill everyone correctly, someone's going to come back and go after you. And that's.
Yeah, because you need some kind of revenue stream.
We do, Jerry. These contracts, our fund drive, our fundraisers that we, participate in, whether it be a gun bash or cash bash, a poker float, St. Patrick's Day dinner, working the apple cider festival, those are all incomes. Now, we can't determine what those incomes are in
I've
that
been
year.
looking in the past, I'd be curious what you brought in, we just added all those up, how much did you bring in, 83,000?
In this year here, we did
Okay.
83,000.
That doesn't seem too bad.
83, I think it was, revenue was 83,424.
And that would include about 15,000 county, Coalport and Macquarie combined, you get 15,000
And
right there.
and White Township contracts, out of the 3 contracts.
Okay.
The reason White was higher is White had the higher, population. Okay?
Well,
Yeah,
now
Now,
they got this thing, but White has to have more than 836 people in White Township.
I have
No,
no
this isn't the township, this is the township.
You'd have to.
No, wait a minute. This
So
is
the
what
6,000
they
for
serve.
Arvona
That's
is
their
actually low
service area,
because they have their own fire department.
Not the
So
population
you're
of the
good.
township.
what's it, Jerry?
They serve.
Well, according to
836
the document that the
people in
president
White
gave
Township.
to us in
That's
the
what this
email,
is, not the population
we
of
pay
White Township.
75, Vicariat Township pays 11,000, Arvona only pays 6,000.
That's what they operated to contract with their borough, with the fire department down there for.
Yeah, they have their own department.
They have their own
Yeah,
fire.
not
So
here.
that doesn't come to you?
No, I put that on.
No.
Oh, okay.
We have signed contracts with 3 municipalities, Coalport Borough, Vicariat Township, and White Township.
Okay,
Just those 3.
okay.
Of that 11,000 in Vicariat Township, we cover what percentage of Vicariat Township?
You cover
Approximately
50% of Vicariat Township.
70, closer to 70. I don't know where
According
you
to them, according to what they say, it's.
So they
No,
paid,
okay, wait. I'm
From 4 fire
confusing.
They split that between 4
What
fire.
I have here
So
is
the
the
call-
population
the
that
call
you
box
serve.
is
Out of
100%,
everybody you
so
serve,
there's a
50%
percentage for
of
each
your
one?
work is in Vicariat Township. Of the
But that
population
11
you
is
serve,
total.
19% is in Coalport.
You could be right on that. The 70% I'm referring to is property assessed values, which would be higher because Vicariat.
Yes, yeah, they have 10
Plain
million
City.
versus our 2.
Plain City, Rosebud, Blauville area. There's not a lot that Arvona serves. Actually, Ramey serves more than Arvona does, and that probably is not
Yes.
on there because Ramey serves a Smoke Run, Vicariat,
Yes.
Village of Vicariat, Kitco Sawmill, that area.
Well, they're giving 11,000 to, I believe you just mentioned 4 fire companies, which is 5% of their budget.
Probably.
They're giving 3.5% to you, which is 7,500. We're giving 7.5%, same amount. So on a percentage basis, we're far more generous than anybody else listed. Coalport's extremely
But the
generous.
department is also located in your municipality.
And that actually makes it easier for you. If you have to go to Vicariat, it's gonna cost you more than it is if you
Yeah,
have
but
a fire
it
here.
was never looked at that way. It was
I'm
looked at,
sure
the fire
not.
department is based in this
Right,
municipality.
I understand that.
When we go for grants and everything, we have to state that we are sitting in a
Yes.
borough.
But what
Our
I'm
constitution
saying,
and bylaws say we are situated in the borough.
but your expenditures for putting out a fire or
Oh,
serving here is much lower. It has to be.
It's the same, no,
Well, you don't have to drive.
it's the
You could-
same.
Well,
Yeah,
it's less fuel.
Actually, it costs more to run a fire truck into the borough when you get a structure fire, because you're running everything.
You might burn less fuel, but then you turn around and you drive up Main Street, there goes your battery from running your red lights, the one in the town is turned off.
Yeah.
So you're, it's a loop.
That's,
Either way, it's wear and tear on a vehicle.
All right.
Just our squad last year ran 550 calls, okay?
A lot of calls.
Now, calls,
Yes, a lot of calls.
yeah, all right? Now, every time that pulls out, it's no less than $25 a call. So right there is $13,750.
Right.
You ask what we do with the money, that's one vehicle. We have 3 other vehicles that pull out. That truck pulls out, it went to 50.
Last night we filled up the engine, or 2 nights ago, after one call out to Go Hollow Road with a tree on top of a car. We put $90 some in it.
So the money you give us would even pay our gas and
that
water.
was-
No one says cheap.
And it wasn't our call. It was another
No one
municipality.
said,
But that's fine,
you look at
that's just part of the give and take that you have.
But you can see COALPORT is very generous, 50% more generous than, say, Beccaria Township or Arvona in the amount, percentage of their budget that we give. We're 50% more generous than those communities on a percentage basis. You know what I mean? They're giving 11,000 out of 215,000. We're giving you 7,500 out of less than 100,000. That's pretty generous. You should have no complaints about how we've treated you. We've been very generous, I think.
No one said we're complaining about it.
There's no complaint.
Yeah, well,
On
what
the
I
same token, I think you guys should be happy that we didn't come back every year and want a $500 increase.
We're asking
Well,
help
you
with
can
money
ask.
towards their.
You-
No, I mean,
Yeah,
but,
I'm saying
we never
that,
did.
right.
How many years we never
Right,
came
but
back
I'm
and said.
saying, why
we want
would you
more.
when somebody's
What
giving
the
you?
bottom line is, you guys are having problems, we're having problems. We're all meeting here so that we can work on it together and come with a solution, because we're all having problems with
Right.
money. And we
Well,
want-
you have the option, and I know that you're already at your max of millage increases. Now, who does that go to? That falls back onto the only residents you have left, or property
Yes,
owners
and
you
you
have
can
left.
see, as you
You
pointed out, that steadily goes down
provide a
and it
service
has
and a
gone
great
down.
service, okay? We're not debating that. And you guys are taxed, we are taxed, and we all need to help each other. That's what the bottom line is. I'm
Right.
not saying,
And I don't know what the true answer for your borough is, Barbie. I really don't. And jokingly, I don't know if you were here when I said earlier, maybe you need to revert to the township. I don't know, but.
I don't take that as a joke. I think we should.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it takes a referendum.
Yes, yeah.
But, you know, you need to try somehow to get more people to build in the borough.
Well, 28, when you're
I mean,
charging.
I know, we laugh.
winning lottery tickets.
I know, but you know what I'm saying, Kevin?
Yeah,
I mean,
just think on your tax base. If you build here, it's 28 mills property tax. You go to the township, it's 4. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, and
I mean, I know you guys send out donation letters, and I, for one, know, probably don't get a
Oh,
large
no, we
income
don't.
on that base either.
we get a decent, I think a fair amount, but the trouble is, if you go back in to check where the funds are coming from, it's not local.
You can't even get a local
It's-
person to
it's-
support us when we have a
it's-
fundraiser.
You get a higher amount.
90% of our people come.
But there again.
We just had a poker float, had
if
350
you're
people
you're
float.
accustomed to it.
99% of the people was from
You can see, we
Tyrone,
have to make
Clearfield.
hard
They work in this
Oh, I know
area.
you do.
It's not
You have to get down to that creek every day, and well, I'm
This
gonna
has
save
become
20 bucks, I'm not
more
floating because I did
adversarial
full
than
I mean,
I don't always get what I want.
as far as fund drive, us going out in the ability to make money, we bust our rears.
Yeah,
end.
and nobody ever said.
And I'm not saying you are.
Yes.
Our
But
guys
you can't,
Our guys can't do much more than what they're doing. They truly can't. As a volunteer, I know what they're
No.
putting in, I've been in this business long enough. We're doing more now than we did back in
Right,
the
doing more
80s.
with less.
I mean, we never did the fund drives that we had, and, you know.
Just leave it simple.
Just leave it on the
And I
table.
don't know what the answer for the answer.
Help yourself.
I know you guys have a dilemma, we have a dilemma too.
Yes.
I mean, but to come out and say, hey, we're not,
We didn't mean it that way.
I mean,
I didn't write the
All we're
letter, she
saying is,
didn't mean that.
that we couldn't find nothing on this. I know Joe and Angel went through folders after folders after folders, trying to find anything pertaining to this.
We were about.
And that's why we called you up here, because we said we don't want to make any decisions.
well, Joe asked me
without
about
you
it,
guys sitting
and
here.
I couldn't find this one. I
Okay?
found an old draft one that had fire company signatures, but no borough signature.
There was a book here.
And I know that there was.
There's a book here that Angel went through, her time at minimum wage, and it's not much because I'm working here now, okay? Just because I know the place needs cleaned up and I don't have to have the money, so I'm working 6 and 7 hours a day for the borough just to get things done. But you go through this book and it says about this fire protection thing, and it repeats itself over and over again in 98?
98.
3 months in a row.
98, 3 months in a row, they claimed they paid you guys $3,500. But we have nothing on why, okay? And when you talk to the other council members, the past council members, and say, hey guys, Where did this come from? Is there anything on this? You know what we were told? It's a fire protection, you have to pay it,
It's a fire.
okay? And I'm not doubting you guys a bit about somebody come up with this contract and said, hey, let's vote on this and have a good idea, okay? And Mr. Devling signed it, and you
That
obviously had Miss Morrison notarize it saying it was valid, okay?
It has a seal.
Because it has a seal. That was what she was, you know, and had the seal. All we're saying is, as a council members, it's time for us now to come back and say, let's look at what's gone in the past. Okay, we spent $22,000 on a make-believe flood project. The borough alone spent $22,000. When it finally came down to where, okay, county and state, it's time for you to pick up your thing, we get a deal saying there's no longer a flood project exists. $22,000 disappeared out of this borough. Wasted. Paid people to survey COALPORT. Paid people to say, people that had jobs, okay, because that was their job, was to make money off this flood project, come in here meeting after meeting and told us how wonderful this flood project, how everything was on board. And we finally got down to the point where, okay, we spent the money we were supposed to spend. Where's it at? Now we find out from the county and the state, the project no longer exists, there's not enough interest, and there's no money in the bank to pay for it.
Right. Now,
We have debts.
you're saying what the borough paid. I can show you what the water company, or the sewage, I should say, paid to relocate lines.
Yes.
We also
That's,
paid
we
that same
paid,
bill.
we paid that same bill.
But-
That same
but-
bill was paid twice. We can show you where we paid that
Maybe
bill.
they paid us back, maybe that's what.
Okay.
That could
But-
have been.
So you know where I'm
I
coming
mean,
from.
I'm sitting
So-
on a letter from the borough that the borough okays to have our whistle pole removed and relocated because of the flood project.
Well, let's
Very,
not do that.
very fortunate.
That hasn't been voted here yet.
Well, very
Okay? Let's not do
It's,
that.
it's signed from the secretary.
How many years ago? You understand what I'm
No,
saying,
no,
guys. You understand what I'm saying.
I know.
I'm getting at.
And-
It.
and
It's
we-
not
and-
us.
And we've held back from doing it.
And thank goodness you did.
Yes.
Okay?
It's gonna,
But we're
it's
going
gonna
back
cost
through
us
our-
$7,000
We're
to
going
do
back
it.
through our records. We're paying $9,000 so we can light up COALPORT at night. $9,000. What is it? Over 9,000. Yeah.
Just street lights.
Just for
nothing else.
street lights.
Just street lights.
We have contacted, and these guys are volunteer times. We've contacted the electric company. We've asked people to come here and show us how we could reduce that $9,000 electric bill, okay? And nobody's come up with an answer yet except for the wattage of the bulbs. There's no meters even on the lights. So how do they determine that it costs?
Well, I can,
You would think
I can
somehow
tell you.
We're just going
I
back.
can give
they
you a
should be
little.
less.
Yeah, it's a flat
I can
fee.
give you a little bit on this. When I was on council in '84, COALPORT had all mercury vapor lights, which were costing more money. They were able to go through Main Street and change them to sodium lights, which reduced the bill. But they could not change all the other ones because they don't meet a certain head standard.
Well, see, they've done them all now for your safety because of the mercury.
Okay.
They're all
Yes,
good
they're all
now.
now.
They're all
You can
done.
go down to LED lights now, but most of these lights are under a 20-year contract. So if you try to replace one, you have to do it at your expense, which is
I see
considerable.
the contract.
That didn't seem smart to me to enter into a 20-year contract.
Jerry wants to, just make sure Jack gets this back, he wants that, that's their call.
You can take a
So
photo.
wait, now,
There's,
you guys can get.
there's a past
Thanks,
history
Rick.
individual on council that actually signed a contract with the state stating that whatever money that they needed for that flood project, that the COALPORT borough would come up with the difference. Okay?
That's a
So
$6
we're-
million
It's a
contract.
$6
I know we're
So
getting-
we're getting together here,
Way off.
and that's why, you know, but I'm trying to understand where we're coming from.
Right, you are.
We're getting all this.
You know, it's not the fact that we wanna say, hey, nobody need, why are we paying the fire company? That's not what we're thinking
I
about.
can tell you histories of the flood control project, which nobody has any idea. Because in '84 tried to get the creek dredged, that's all it needed.
Yes, I agree, that's what
But
should
we're
have
not
done.
allowed to because of the Chesapeake Bay
somebody
Commission.
else told me about
Yeah.
the dredging of.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Now,
what would happen though if we just pulled all the dead trees out?
you're probably washing into the creek and you could come back, they could come back.
Ask Phillipsburg about dredging.
Who?
Phillipsburg.
They ran into it.
Well,
They pulled the
we,
bridges out, and we haven't had a flood.
we,
The iron bridge no longer holds the water back.
I was always in favor of the flood control project, and I probably will till I die. because the flood control project also included replacing the wall that was destroyed a year ago that hasn't been touched yet on
And a
the
bridge,
other end of
the
town.
bridge that needs
And the
replaced, too.
bridge. So, you know, you figure how much you're gonna pay, the borough's gotta pay to replace that bridge
It was a
and
win-win.
correct that stream. If the flood, you're saying,
But do you
the
think
flood
when it
flood
comes-
control line goes in there now, so.
Basically, they want 15% of 6 million, that would be our contribution.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's not affordable. When you have $100,000 coming in, they want 15,000 of that this past year, we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it, or then you wouldn't get anything.
The
because there
original,
wouldn't
I
be
have
money.
the original flood control project papers from back in the 1960s, because my dad was mayor,
Yeah,
and it stopped because they didn't have flood.
yeah, we never had.
And then it
friends.
was picked
Never
back
had
up again.
reality.
Through different legislators and stuff like that, and,
97.
I mean, '84 I even tried to do it. But back to this, we'll take that back to the fire company, if you can give us a written statement stating that you are going to break contract, and I will continue to use the word contract because that's what it is. You know, our department can look at it, and you guys can decide as well, and there's not much more we can.
Yeah, just let us know what you're gonna do.
Here's how I think, I can't, I'm trying to get everyone to say what to do. My feeling is we will at least break that contract at the end of the year. We will decide what we can give to the fire company based on how much money we have.
Yeah,
I don't know if it pans out that
like
way.
you said, just put it in writing, let us know.
Yeah,
All right, we'll do that.
I will tell you that we have already how many months ago was that? 6 months? We talked about it. Probably five to 6 months ago, we discussed it. And at that time, we decided to just leave everything right as was.
Yeah,
Because,
we
you know,
we couldn't possibly give you any more.
I-
I would, my guess is.
we know that.
Yes.
We know that.
Here's where I'm coming, everybody else seems to give 5%, we give 7.5%. I would try to convince the board to at least come down to 5%. Now, I don't know that that will happen, that's me talking, not the board. But I don't want there to be any surprises, is why I'm telling you where I'm coming from.
Yeah, and I was always told that it's in the code somewhere that the borough has 2 responsibilities: fire protection and maintenance of roads.
I can't,
I
I don't remember, I think it's 13.0 section.
Yeah, I don't
Taking
know.
care of one of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's,
We're legally obligated to pay your insurance, the workers' comp.
workman's comp, that's a
That's our
separate.
only
Yeah,
legal
that's a separate,
obligation.
that's a separate thing.
Yes. Yeah, then we are allowed to give you money, but not required to give you money. There's a big difference there in the way that's worded, so
I'm
this is a donation. You can see it's different for every
Yeah, I'm just going
municipality.
back to what I
Right,
was
well,
told,
then it'd be-
and I was on the department in '75.
Right, but is there a formula? You know, I mean, you can see it's different for every
There wasn't
municipality.
really a formula per se when they were drawn up. It was more that the fire company was located in the borough.
So we should give
So-
7.5% versus 5% for precariat?
Yes,
Even though our population is,
well, it's dwindled
Yes.
now.
It's
Yes.
like I said to you in the email, I mean, you gotta look at it either way. We have a privilege of having a fire
Yes.
company right here. I mean, and that is a privilege. They're here,
Right
you know, their, response time is quicker, you know, it's.
You had 2 full days of flood cleanup, not 1 person. We all donated our time just to come up and clean the town.
And it's, I don't know if it's a tax benefit or not, because the more,
it's a benefit. The fire
yeah, the
company's
more
a real
benefits that
benefit.
you
Yeah,
have,
and I'm not saying it
the
isn't.
better it is for the
It's
community.
literally a
I
benefit
mean,
to have you here.
This really has
Real
nothing to do
estate.
with, did you know that the park was owned by the fire company?
Heard that. Didn't know all those details,
Yeah.
no.
And it was
But
converted over.
I'm not, I hope I think you're getting the wrong impression. I don't think you provide a bad service. I admire you, you do a hard job.
I realize that, but at the same token, you need to
Yes.
realize where we're coming
We
from.
do. It's tight for you and it's tight for us.
Yeah, in the same token, I mean, we bust our balls
Thanks.
and then, you know, it's just a hard pill to swallow when somebody says we're gonna take money away from
We
them.
I'm
have-
sure it is, yes.
We have been blessed with the amount of grants that we've received in the last 20 years.
But I hope you realize we've been more generous on a percentage basis than any community out there. On a percentage basis.
I understand where you're coming from. I work a full-time job,
plus I work a part-time job.
It's your
I
farm.
volunteer. I teach CPR and EMT classes. I work for the church. I have a daughter that I support solely on my own. This is the first I had to eat yet today. I know where you guys are coming from. I'm with you. I'm not against you. But I also am a part of the member of this board, and as a member of this board, I also have to do what's best for the taxpayers of this community. So I am torn.
And then,
This is no
now
easy.
that you said that, okay, let me just add to what he was saying. He said, Joe shouldn't be involved in this because he's a member of the fire company too.
And that's why I said I abstained.
Yeah, and he shouldn't
And I
be.
would
He
not-
should be putting his 2 cents worth in.
I didn't say had to, I'm just, that puts him in a rough
Yeah.
spot, you
Yeah.
know, he's a
I mean-
councilman on the one hand and fireman on the other.
Right.
No matter what he does, it can piss somebody
Oh.
off, you know what I mean?
Been in that predicament
Yes.
many
Looking
times.
at you.
Yeah, so I was just trying to get him out of that situation, you know, by saying there's a
This
conflict
really,
there.
this is rough for us, because we want to help y'all, because
I wish I could sit here and tell you, hey, you guys need to do X, Y, and Z to come ahead.
We'd like to.
There isn't any. There is no.
It's gonna keep going down, you know, you've already pointed that
I
out.
mean, there is no, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. People have to fix up their houses and their taxes go
Yes.
up.
And we better try to pay our help, I mean,
And unfortunately, in this area, you're gonna see, before you ever see anything different, you're gonna see more and more empty houses. I guarantee you, for the next 3 years, you're gonna see at least 4 places in the main street of Coalport. Does not exist.
you're
There's
sitting
ones
here
up in
looking at
here
a girl
that's
right
empty,
here
and
that
they're not
uses you
paying
guys a lot.
Yeah, and you're right.
It's unfortunate, it's unfortunate.
I mean, when I was fire chief, we had it down to like maybe 3 bad buildings, maybe 2. And all of a sudden now it's exploding back.
Way to go, Adam.
I don't sleep at night.
I mean, it's,
You got a whole
Worried
street,
about all these buildings.
you got a block down there that is
There's
just
so
waiting.
many of them.
There's a whole block, and they're all attached to one
It's a
another.
block
Don't say that
party
too loud.
waiting.
You know, it's unfortunate, and I don't
Never
want to
heard
get
it
this out of nobody, but
I've
I.
never
I've
heard
been
of
a house
that.
all twice.
I mean, it's,
It's called block party.
and like you said, it's not just down Main Street, it's,
I don't know, there's, up
Everywhere.
here on the hill,
It's
there's
everywhere.
buildings that
I mean.
nobody's in anymore. They're just sitting there waiting. I mean, and yes, we've been very fortunate. When you look at the news and stuff and some of the things that are going on in other places, at least they're still standing.
How fortunate were that old school building down here now, we never burned down. That was
And how many years did we?
amazing.
I thought that.
But-
Amazing.
and
Thank
I
you
understand
for
everybody's
responding to
feelings.
the
I just don't
letter.
feel that we have
I
the
I
funds to cover
suggested
that
it,
kind of
Barbie
contract.
made the motion, and the council voted to send you a letter, not, because they were struggling to understand all
Well-
this, and we really appreciate you coming.
To be fair, I got the letter not last week, week before, and I sat on it because I wanted to talk to Brian, he's the president, and I didn't want 20 guys coming here because the letter says more welcome to come, the better, and all it does
We
is
don't wanna
give me
bring the
the
whole party
shouting.
down.
It would have been nice to have the whole park.
No.
It wasn't. We,
We got people going to jail tonight.
Yeah,
I can guarantee you.
you know, I
You'd have brought the tar and feathers, huh?
Yeah, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Everybody's involved, it's
That might have
very-
been the least of
you
it.
don't have to have streetlights, but at the same token, if you turn them off, then your crime goes up.
Probably.
And we don't have a police officer.
You know,
to turn that
so-
on.
They're getting, so
What do you
once
do?
that
Because the
police
township
officer, now
doesn't
we
pay
don't.
for, the township doesn't pay for
No.
streetlights.
You can see the decline, we used to have a fire, a policeman, now we don't have a policeman, so we just keep cutting and cutting and cutting.
And if you read the progress lately where they said up in there, Bigler Township having hire one for $50,000, give them a year.
Yeah,
They're not-
I just heard about that the other day. I said, how the hell did you dare or afford a police
They're saying
officer?
50,000 and it's gonna take this, they have a grant or somebody donated money.
There's grants out there for that. The only thing is that you have to guarantee that you will sustain him for
Yes.
at least 3 years. So,
Yeah.
yes, your first and second year gets paid for, and then that third year, you gotta scrape up the money, because you have to contractually pay.
Yeah, there was a
Them have been,
breakdown.
yep. there
Well,
has
if you're
been.
gonna have one, you might as well have one.
I mean, the
It's
big-
gonna write fines and bring money into the borough. You hate to see
But-
it, but I mean, you hate to say
Ken,
that, but that's the only way.
That you don't realize this, you have an officer out in the street for 32 hours a week getting tickets. He has to spend probably 16 of those 32 additional hours
In a court.
going to court.
And your townspeople have to leave your
Have to
clock
pay for
alone
that,
and stop
too.
knocking on his door and saying, but, and the also has to leave the officer alone and saying, you wrote my friend this ticket, and I would rather this ticket disappear because you don't get any revenue from that.
That's
And that I saw firsthand.
over the years, and I hate to keep saying it, I feel like I'm the old man here. But we did the study. It would take about 7 officers full-time to carry a COALPORT or Glen Hope and all them, to have the coverage that you need and have vacation
One
time.
cop isn't
and
covering
court
all
costs.
that.
I don't know how many they're going to do.
I don't know how big Bigler Township is, but how, pretty big.
From Tubbs Crossing to the Shannon Valley School.
Yeah, it goes right up against,
And
it
state,
goes down against Woodward Township.
state
It's a big
police,
area, but it's not really heavily populated. That's the thing.
And they go clean over to the edge of, you
They're
go
gonna
to
make
Ramey
their
Borough
money in
too.
that speech rep.
You go over to the edge of Ramey Borough
Oh, yeah.
too.
state
Right
police
through Tubbs
wanted
Crossing,
reimbursed
you
too.
make those line on our set speed.
I don't know what, I wish I could tell you what a good answer or outcome would be.
No, it's agonizing, you know, to come to a good conclusion. There's no easy answer. If there was,
I mean, they even wanted to bring a guy in here to tell us how we should spend our money, and in the meantime, charge us money. Now, where does that,
Yeah, consultant, hire a consultant.
Right, you know,
A consultant's gonna cost you
that's
23.
not dead yet, by the way.
And that's not even dead yet.
They want it,
I
they're
thought consultant's
forcing
probably
us to
gonna
do that.
cost you.
and they're forcing us to do that.
On the
Yes.
low side, 20,000.
Yep.
Right, and they're forcing us to do
We
that.
supposed to go ahead and have him fill that out.
I
Yeah,
guess,
fill it
yeah.
out, I need the list from everything.
Just
The list
because,
of, the list of people.
because, I was gonna
He'll
say,
come and help.
if you
That
have,
letter, he'll
if
come
you're
up
going
and
to
just
be
ask,
cautious,
if you need help,
hire.
don't hesitate.
But this has a grant guarantee at the end if we do it correctly.
But-
It's that big
but
if.
the big
Yeah.
thing is also, Jerry, it's just like
All
Calvin
that
mentioned,
big income.
you gotta make sure when you go for it, there isn't a tie-in that you have to do it for X amount of years. On 100% first year, the borough picks up 50%, then the borough picks up,
No,
or no, the
I
borough
don't
picks up
think,
0,
This
50, and
one's-
100.
It's called an
No,
early
this is
intervention program, it's for distressed communities.
yes.
We're not the phony on anything.
I was gonna say, do you fall under the criteria of population for it?
As far as I know, they came up and spoke with us and said we're eligible, and they're pushing us to participate.
Johnstown, Altoona, which is a lot larger, they went through the
Yes,
distressed
that's right,
communities.
that's right.
And they may say that we need to contribute more to the fire company and they'll get grant money.
More or less. You don't know how that'll
They
go.
may come back and tell you, who knows what.
That's right, who knows what, yes.
I mean, it's,
They have their own interest there, and you may not be on their list of interest. I think it's the flood project, is why they're forcing us into this. We wouldn't come up with 15% match, so they're
Yeah.
trying to find a way to get the 15% match. But we just can't. It's absolutely impossible.
yeah,
It's
and the
$15,000.
bottom line is what I told you right at the very beginning, your tax base is dwindled.
It has, and it's continuing.
And that's where the issue is. If you had the houses that you had in here 20 years ago, 25 years ago, you probably wouldn't be in this
No,
situation.
just look around Joe Vasilevsky's house.
Oh, yeah.
Here's-
Well, but it's still standing.
Yes, it's still,
But
but
you
it won't
take-
be, how many years?
Yeah, but
Well,
you take,
5 and dime.
right next door, you're on.
But you can see where it's
Wanda's,
going.
Wanda's house, it's tore
going.
down.
But
Now it's a
that
vacant
will
lot.
be, you can see where that's going. It
Oh,
will
yeah.
be torn down.
5
It
and
isn't
10.
now.
You were getting $400 a
Yes.
year maybe in taxes off of 5 and 10. Next year, tax basis, that's $400.
No, you get nothing.
less.
You don't get, right. Right, and so then it's
You'll probably
difficult
get
for
maybe
us.
25 for the lot.
And,
Well, then it's hard for us to keep up the percentage
and,
to you.
and
See what I
part,
mean?
and it's not so much fire company, because we haven't bought any property in our area. The 501c3 organization.
Right, they, you don't
medical
get anything
center,
from them, right.
item,
Right, or a church, you don't get
the
anything.
churches. Now, the churches you do. The Mansons pay, but the churches don't.
The what?
The Mansons, the houses that do pay.
Pastors.
The pastors'
all right.
houses pay,
All right.
but the churches
It's
don't.
not, right.
The Catholic Church father's house does not, because it's something to do with the way
That's
the
what
law
I
is
thought,
right
right.
now.
Yeah, that's surprising. But anyway, there's a lot of exemptions.
Too many.
Yes.
Right.
But that's our reality, and then that affects you.
I mean,
Indirectly.
what helped the borough at one time was the railroad. When the railroad pulled out, those properties became taxable.
Yes.
In between
Yes.
that, it was
A little bit.
off
No.
to hell.
No, when you lose houses and
Yeah.
businesses.
That's the big
It
thing.
actually didn't work out the way it was supposed to with them on the railroad then either. That was supposed to go back to the original owners.
Sections of it. all how, depends on how you read the big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Cause I read it, looked through sections of it. Some was tie-in to tie-in, and some were 50-foot right-of-ways, and it changed.
A lot of the ones that ran right through the borough, they were,
In the borough, anywhere where there's a street or a walkway, and there was another word that they used, reverted to the borough.
and they all didn't work that way though.
But I don't know what else to tell you guys. I don't know if you want to throw anything else at us.
Thank you again.
Thanks for
Thank
coming,
you.
guys.
No problem.
Thanks for coming up.
Appreciate it. I'm sorry it's under these bad circumstances.
We just remember our circumstances
We
are
are.
just like yours. We realize where you're at. Please remember where we're at. I
We
mean,
don't want there to be any surprises.
no,
here,
well,
do you know what I mean?
the big thing is, like I said, we haven't increased, since the contract was signed in
But from my
7.
point of view, it haven't decreased either.
We haven't decreased.
That's what I felt should have happened based on our income.
But our expenses, has gone up.
So have ours, so have ours.
In 1975, when we bought the American LaFrance, we
We're around the road, sorry.
We paid $52,000 for that fire truck. We were offered $5,000 to break the contract. By the time we signed the contract, when we got it. Today, to replace that truck,
Right.
we're at $400,000, $450,000. Because our newest one we bought in 2008, it was $251. And the rest, $320, okay.
And you know those same arguments apply here. We have a truck that we once bought for $5,000, this
Right.
was $90,000,
But-
you know what I mean?
But at the same
deal.
token, we have to keep doing upgrades to keep the ISO people happy, to keep your insurances on your properties. Unfortunately, Jerry, that doesn't help you without not having insurance. But, that's.
But in the long run, it's gonna put a burden back on the borough people. I mean, if their insurance just goes up $50 a month, it's gonna be $50 a month less they're gonna have. And it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
If
no
we
doubt.
can't maintain our equipment, it's gonna happen, I'm
Right.
telling you.
Right, no doubt about it.
And all it's gonna do is it's gonna force the people here to force them out of Coalport.
Well, we just can't give you what we don't have.
Right.
I understand what you're saying.
But at the same token, since 2000, we started our QRS service, which we have not come to any municipalities to ask.
I wish it wasn't like this.
I know,
Jack.
but I'm just telling you, we have not gone to anybody. We don't get paid for that QRS service. We do not get paid. All we get is reimbursement of some of our disposable items. An ambulance is required to pay for our oxygen, but not for the, maybe I'm reversed on it. They pay first, replace certain stuff, and we have to pay. But I can show you bills that an AED is $1,500 probably now, and we carry 4 on our vehicles. That's for our safety as well as the public.
Certainly. Yeah, I know you have
I mean, we-
costs, and they're high.
And we're paying over $1,000 a year on the contract just to maintain them. I mean, to make sure that they are up to standard and the batteries are proper and everything's where it needs to be. That's just one little thing that we're offering that we never came to. When we bought the vehicle, we had never went to the municipality and say, hey, give us money. Like I said, in '67, the Ford was owned by the borough, and the borough had to pay for part of it, fire company paid for part of it, and when we bought the LaFrance, the borough gave them a lump sum, and that's when the contract started, at that point in time. It was about 75 or 74, around that area.
Incorporates electrics, what do they need to?
Yeah, tell me, we just replaced, if you don't use those AED pads, which she's talking about, in a certain date, they have an expiration date. You throw $137. And there's no reimbursement.
After 1 week, we replaced 3 sets.
If you go to an automobile accident and you did all that cleanup, you don't charge the insurance company at all?
We do not in our service area. It's a billing nightmare. We could probably do it for equipment and all that, but you cannot bill for your manpower. You are not allowed by law.
You can bill for equipment and then they can say, well.
We don't have the time to
We're not
bill.
gonna give it to you.
I mean, there's some days, you might go 2 days without sleep, then you want us to turn around and try to have someone do this billing?
And they
Not
probably
gonna
don't,
happen, right.
most of the time you don't get paid. It's
And
not
if you do billing and you hire an outside firm to to do it, they take a percentage, and the problem, like I mentioned earlier, Jerry, was if you aren't billing everybody the same, you know, if I say, oh, Kevin, it's you, I'm only gonna bill you for 2 flares. Oh, Eric, I'm gonna bill you for 5. You know,
Discriminatory.
you're gonna get caught
Yeah.
sometimes.
Right.
And I don't wanna put that burden on me, I know that. And I don't think Adam does, and I don't think Brian
It comes
does.
down to, we had a fire one time that the homeowner got a letter in the mail stating about the insurance payment, and then how do you look him in the face and say,
A borough resident got a letter from a neighboring fire company saying, here's a bill,
Fee?
because, yes, because we came in to help fight
so
the
then we had
fire.
to explain that we called in help,
Right.
and then they turned around and
Yeah, and they had no right to bill.
Right.
so when
They
somebody
had-
just lost their house, you have to look at
Right.
them and say,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
here's
By the way,
here's
you're
a
getting
$3,000 bill besides.
it's not happening.
And not for nothing, it was our guys that was in that house fighting that fire, and, you know, it wasn't
But,
anybody else.
you know, I don't know whether it was a mistake on the other department doing it, or what, it's all resolved. And I've talked to the property owner, it's all resolved, everything's good to go on it, you know.
But it's,
Still, you didn't wanna deal with
at a
it.
time like
It's
that,
just something-
you don't,
Right,
want-
that's
they're
the
going
last
through
thing.
enough, you don't wanna
Right.
say, hey, by the way, you gotta rebuild your house and do
Yeah,
this.
and like Jack said, you can't pick and choose, so if somebody wrecks down here, there's a fatal on Main Street, you know.
Yeah, how do you bill?
Like the boy that wrecked his motorcycle down here a couple years ago. Oh, hey, by the way, we used all this stuff, here's a bill for your insurance. We're not doing that.
Sometimes you gotta swallow.
Right. And you do the right thing, I mean, I think you do a good job with what you have.
I can sit here and tell you stories. I'm wasting your time, because I'm sure you have other issues to go over tonight too.
Yeah, I'm still working, I have 2 more patients to see, that's my phone call today.
Yeah, really, we've agonized over this whole thing. There's no easy solution for us.
Well,
It's just,
like I said, there is a contract, it's a year-to-year basis contract. If you guys wish not to if you wish to just leave it go, that's fine.
write the letter.
Yep.
But it says in the contract that if we need to be written, notified in writing, you know, for a period of time. You guys are obligated already for the first half of the year. You're obligated for the second half of the year, because it's already spelled out in the contract.
I don't know if we're.
Well,
On that contract,
yeah.
you know.
Cross that bridge when we
We,
get there.
But you are obligated to it, it's spelled right out.
Yeah,
Payments are
I-
due
I
the
don't
first
know how
of
legal
June
the thing ever
and the
was.
first of
Yeah.
December. But we have always taken the attitude, we don't compound you for it, we'll say, hey, don't forget, you got the contract, you know, but, we understand that your monies don't come in all at one time.
Yeah, same as you, it's lumpy.
We realize that, but you need to realize that the contract is in place there, it's a valid contract. What you do down the road is what you do down the road.
This
I
January
mean, we don't go to Vicari and ask them for their monies. We don't go to White Township and ask for their monies up front. Personally, I prefer to have theirs come in later in the year. I liked it when yours came in June, that helped
Right,
us
smooth it out a little bit.
get us out over a certain, because our insurance comes due in November. And so if I get Vicari and White in November area, that helps smooth out over the period. And that's why we've never gone to them and said, hey, you owe it right now, you know. And we realize what the borough situation was over the years.
Yeah, you know, it just keeps
I mean,
going down and
but-
down and down.
well, even
You
the
know, you
late
can see it.
timeliness of the payments. I mean, that's what I'm looking at.
This January 2008, that's the last
You're only
contract
here
that
tonight
was
when we
signed.
go.
It was, ran from January 1, 2008 through 10, all right, with an automatic 1-year renewal,
Okay,
automatic.
but this
renewal.
is the last one. I mean,
This is the most recent,
okay.
that we have had. I mean, I found another old one, but
Yeah.
these will supersede. And the old one was at 7,000, I think it was.
Yeah.
Went to
We
7,000.
found that one, we found it in a minute.
I mean,
That's up
and
there.
at the time, that's only a $250 for a 6-month increase. Which wasn't a lot, but it's.
Yeah, but we
still
cut
is
that out,
something.
even though our income's been going down, till you get to the point where you can't do it anymore.
I don't know what else to tell
There's
you.
nothing you can say, there's nothing you can say. Thanks for coming, I appreciate it. Sorry it's a bit adversarial, it didn't be that way.
No.
Nothing else?
Yeah. Good
That's
day.
it?
See you later.
That's it, thanks, Jack.
See you,
All right,
Jack.
see you guys.
Take her easy.
See you, Jack.
Yep, see you later, yep.
I guess.
See you, Joe. See you, Morgan. See you, Jerry.
Aye. I think that was good.
It's a tough
It's
situation.
tough, it's
It
real.
really, it really
Did you
is.
attend the same meeting I did?